Hi Stampers, this is Annette from AE Stamps Latte, and today I'm going to be sharing 3 alternative ideas with you using the May 2020 Paper Pumpkin Kit, which makes these projects. I did not make these specific projects as given in the kit, so I don't have them to show you, so that's why I'm showing you this. But I am going to show you what I made that is a deviation from each one of these, so that if you would like to copy that and make those instead or in addition, then you can. So I'm going to get started with this one here first, and I'll show you what I made. I made a pocket card, and this is the envelope that matches it. I kept pretty much the same. I did everything the same except I added some flowers with our new punch that we have, and that was you could have earned during celebration, which will also be available in the new upcoming catalog. And then I just changed it into a pocket card. Okay, so everything is the same except I added the flowers, and because the envelope is pumpkin pie, I added pumpkin pie flowers. And this image is in the stamp set, and then I just use a 5/16 of an inch circle punch and created the centers for my flowers and then put them on dimensionals. And when I stamped the Oh Happy Day, which is part of the kit, onto the piece that's in the kit, mine didn't turn out real smoothly, so I ended up replacing it with a piece of crushed curry cardstock, pretty much the same size as it. So if you aren't successful with it, you can either use crushed curry cardstock if you have it, or just flip it over and try again. Another thing that you could do is use your Stamparatus, which I probably should have, but I was being impatient. And then because I pulled out the pumpkin pie to match my envelope, I just went into my stash and found a piece of pumpkin pie ribbon to add on the inside. So I'm going to tell you or show you how I made this. And so I'm going to be bringing in my paper cutter and a piece of white cardstock, 8.5 by 11. So I'm just going to put this to the side for a minute. Okay, so we need to make the actual white pocket itself. So what I did was I took a piece of cardstock and I measured it, or I cut it off on the lengthwise at 5. And we'll just use this for later. And then it's 10.5 inches long. So I'm gonna just cut off a little bit here, or it's 10.25, I mean. So I'm just taking off a small chunk, okay? So the dimension is 10.25 long by 5 inches wide. Now we're gonna score it. So I'm bringing in I like to use my score tool so much better than my paper cutter. And on the long side, we're gonna score it just at 4 3/4. Okay, and then we're just gonna score on each side at 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch here and 1/2 inch here. Okay, and then we're gonna bring our paper cutter back in, and this side is going to go like this, so we don't need these pieces right here. So the easiest way to do it and to get the straightest cut is to bring your paper cutter back in and then line it up on the 1/2 inch and then just remove or cut it down. And then it's just easy for me to just flip the card over and then just line it up like that and do it again up to that first score line. Okay, and then after you have that, and I didn't cut that quite good, then you can just bring in your paper snips. So this is the back of the card, so we'll just cut like this. to cut these pieces off. And then we'll just cut the top off here. So those are our flaps, and the 1/2 inch is kind of nice so that you could get regular tape or glue or tear and tape on there. And then you can use your bone folder, which I have to get mine, and score those nicely. And then that will create your pocket. Okay, so we have that. So I'm not going to put this together, but basically you're going to put tape here and then do that. Okay, so then you'd have your pocket. Now we're going to take the actual card from the kit, which is this one, and we're going to bring our paper cutter back in. And the decorative side for here is what we're going to be working with. And for that, we're going to cut it down to 3 5/8 inches wide. Okay, by 5 1/4. No, that's not true. Is it? Oh, sorry. I wrote down the wrong thing. 4 1/2. 4 3/8, I think. Yeah, 4 3/8. Sorry about that. Okay, so you're gonna have this piece and this piece. And so then what we're going to do then is, because the pocket piece, we have this leftover piece right here. So we're gonna cut this down so that it'll fit into here like that. And this is where it's 3 5/8 wide again. And this one is 5 1/4. Okay, so there's our pocket piece. Here's our front piece. And then just for fun, I used this piece here and I did cut mine down a little bit. So I took off just like a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch. So, but anyways, I'm not gonna do that right now. So you get the point. You can leave it like that. And then I just taped it to it and I held my ribbon up there. It's a little hard, but then you stick your stapler in there, and that's how I did it. You don't have to do that, but it's kind of fun. But a tip that I have for you is after you staple it, after you center it, just turn it over and take your little hammer from your toolkit that we have had and just lightly tap them down so it's not sticking up. That way won't catch on anything. And then you'll be able to put that in your pocket like that. So that way we didn't waste anything when we were making this card. Okay, so that is the first alternative project. All right, and the second one, let's see here, which is this one right here, is with this card base right here, and it makes a smaller card. And this is what I made. I kind of made one of these kind of cards. Woohoo! So I'm going to show you what I did for this one. So the leftover piece that we cut off from the first project, we're going to use that, and we're going to cut it down. It's 3 1/2, and we're going to cut it down to 3 1/4. I think, yeah, 3 1/4. So just a little teeny bit we're going to take off. And this is the piece that we're not using. See, we're gonna use the whole thing. And then we're gonna score it. And we're gonna score it at 3 1/8. And then 6 1/4. Okay, to make our flap. And then we'll just fold it back and forth. So we have that. I don't think I did mine right. Dang it. It's 3 1/8. I did 3 1/4 and it's 3 1/8. So I did 3 1/4 and it's 3 1/8. So right there. So we'll just rub out that. There. Now that's better. So 3 1/8, not 3 1/4. So 3 1/8 and then 6 1/4 to get our fold for the flap. And then we're going to cut this down, the actual card piece itself. And we're going to make it 2 7. No, we're going to do, what did I do this? I didn't measure it. Oh, that's because I didn't need to. You're just going to cut it off. Right down the score line and use this as our base. So it's gonna go like this. See? Just like that. And then the piece that's in the kit will go on top. There. But then we're gonna, all you have to do is then cut the leftover back piece of the purple posy into this. So that'll go there. So that is 3 inches. It's not quite a perfect square. It's 3 by 2 7/8. And then you're going to stamp that image from the stamp set itself randomly. And then it just goes right in there like that. And then this is the sentiment I put, and then you would put any of your sentiments in there. I use Stampin' Dimensionals under here. I use the 5/16 circle punch again to put that. And for me, it got a little too busy to put any other colors because there's 3 colors here, and I really don't like to work where I'm highlighting more than 3 colors. You can have accents of it, and that's what the blue is. So to pull out this, I chose to stick with the Misty Moonlight, but I didn't want to add any other colors. So to carry that theme of that blue, you need to stamp this in the Misty blue, Misty Moonlight blue, and then the sentiment. And so I just pulled out the pumpkin pie again for my sentiment. So there you go. That would be the second project, and we're not wasting any paper or cardstock from there. All right. And then the third alternative project really isn't very different than what is in here. I pretty much did the same thing, except I put it on a purple posy cardstock card base layer. So what I did was I cut down the actual card itself, the front, to one of my favorite layers that I like, which is 3 7/8 wide. By 5 1/8. okay? And so then that would be that layer. And I know you don't have the Misty Moonlight cardstock, so I apologize, but you could layer it on pumpkin pie or crushed curry and then on white. But if you have Purple Posy, then you could put it on Purple Posy. You can experiment to bring out any of these colors that you want to bring. But because I have new product, I did put it on the Misty Moonlight cardstock. So that's 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then, like I said, the Purple Posy cardstock. So the piece right here that we cut off, you're gonna cut that off, and then you can put that on the inside of your card right here so that the whole theme is going through like that. And the additional sentiments that I used is also from a paper pumpkin kit, and I'm not sure which one it is, but I think it's kind of fun to go through my paper pumpkin kits, stamp sets, and then use them when I am creating alternative projects with my paper pumpkins, because then that way I'm using them. So for the hay that comes in the stamp set, I did use my Stamparatus. Because this is not our Whisper White cardstock, you may not get a solid image because it is a very large image. So when you're stamping the hay, what I did was I took the cloud, and I'm not going to do it, but I'm just going to show you. So I took the big cloud and I kind of just put it over here, and I put this on here where I wanted it to be, and I have this removable tape that I use and I reuse it, and I'm holding my cloud down and I get exactly where I want it to be, and I pick it up, and now I inked it, and I inked it twice so that I could get the full image without it moving. And that's what I should have done with my first one, but I was impatient and I didn't. So I kind of goofed that one up. So a Stamparatus is such a lifesaver for so many things, especially when you're working with big stamp sets like this, so that you get a very sharp, clean image. So anyways, that's how I was able to get it perfectly inked up. And everything is put on with dimensionals, and then as you can see, I embossed it. So if you were to do this again and you needed to make it like, say, today, you could make this pumpkin pie and then this piece pumpkin pie. And if you do not have the Purple Posy cardstock, then you could use white and it would still look fabulous. So all of the other things are from the stamp set, and then I added the really cool little trinkets that came in the paper pumpkin. And then I added that sentiment. So those are the 3 alternative creations, and this is what I am going to make probably for all of them, and that way I can have them ready to go for this summer for people that I quick birthdays, for people that I'm thinking about, and or to give as a gift set, because these are really definitely screaming summer. So those of you who are Paper Pumpkin subscribers will be getting the PDF with step-by-step instructions and dimensions for everything. So thanks a lot. Bye.